So if I'm deferring my retirement accounts and not taking any money because I don't want to pay the tax, I'm just going to pay a hell of a lot more tax later. Joe writes in from Ventura, California. Hey, Joe, Al, I really enjoy your podcast, insights and humor, and wanted to ask a spitball question. I'm 50 and plan to retire in 12 years. When I estimate my accounts at my goal retirement age of 62, using an annual interest rate of 6% and yearly maximum contributions to the Roth, I have these numbers. Roth, 1.5 million, traditional 1.5 million, taxable savings, 200,000. Here's the question. In what proportion do you usually recommend drawing down from these accounts once you hit retirement? Many traditional professionals I looked up recommend withdrawing first from taxable accounts, then tax-deferred accounts, and finally Roth accounts where withdrawals are tax-free. They write that the goal is to allow tax-deferred assets to grow longer and faster. However, a recent Fidelity post shared an example and data that if you draw from all three accounts, taxable savings, Roth, traditional, at the start of retirement, you will lower your overall tax amount over the life of the portfolio for a net reduction in total taxes on paid income in retirement. What do you usually recommend doing when retirement hits? Do you agree with drawing from all three accounts? I agree that the Roth is valuable, so I'd hesitate to lower the amount by taking withdrawals from it in my 60s, but it makes sense in the big picture. I can see the point. Thanks so much. I look forward to your podcast every week during my commute to work. Has she ever listened to the podcast, I guess, before this? Because yes, she's right on track.
Yeah.
You heard it from Fidelity versus us?
Yeah.
That's what we talk about every week.
Fidelity is right. So here's how to think about it, which is you do this based upon your tax bracket, and you look at your current tax bracket, future tax brackets. What tax bracket are you going to be in? The last thing you want to do is pull it out of, well, first of all, so they recommend the taxable savings. You only have a couple 100,000. That's kind of more for emergency, but you would pull it and then in their order, you take it out of the traditional. Well, that's not bad, except if it puts you in a lot higher bracket, you need to consider this as you're pulling money out. Now, when Social Security hits and other things, it may change, or if your spending changes, you may change the allocation. But you got to think about your tax rates each and every year.
So at 62, it's going to depend on how much money that you want to live off of, Joe. So if it's 50,000 or 100,000, you're probably going to have a different combination of what your distribution plan looks like.
Yeah.
Let's say it's 50,000. You'd probably pull from the retirement accounts first because you'd keep yourself in the 12% tax bracket.
Yeah, exactly. So that keeps you in the low bracket. On the other hand, if you want 150,000, it might be totally different.
Yeah, then you would want a combination of all three. So it's looking at your taxable income each year and then filling up your taxable income to the lowest bracket possible. And if you need more income, then that's when you would grab from the taxable account or tax-free, because all of that's tax-free dollars. So instead of pulling, so the last thing you want to do is drain your liquidity. And this is what most advisors preach, right? It's like, okay, keep deferring until you absolutely have to take the money out. Well, then you're going to defer those dollars when you're in very low tax brackets, when you either should be spending them or converting them, right? So if I'm deferring my retirement accounts and not taking any money because I don't want to pay the tax, I'm just going to pay a hell of a lot more tax later.
Right.
So it's looking at the tax bracket each year, and it's like either take the money and spend it, or take the money and convert it into your Roth IRA and pay the tax at, the 10 and 12% tax bracket.
Yeah, completely agree. And if you want to take out a lot more, I mean, you'll have a lot of savings, so you'll be able to. But it's just a matter of looking at the tax brackets and coming up with a sensible plan. So, Joe, in your particular case, you'll have roughly equal between traditional and Roth. We don't see that very often. Very good. That's a really good allocation. So you basically will be able to minimize taxes over the rest of your life if you do this properly.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.